Okay, so this is my teardown of the Wild T2 mod, or new style. And there's a couple of reasons why I'm going to tear this guy apart and attempt to correct some of its misfires. The first thing is here, if you take a look at the vertical circle, get zoomed in a little bit better here. Okay, there we go. So if you look at the distance between the 105 degrees and the top of the viewing circle itself, that distance is supposed to be equal to the distance between the bottom of the arrow and the minute readings down at the bottom there. And they're definitely not. So this is the Wild Heerbrugg service manual that I purchased from the virtual archives of Wild Heerbrugg online. And if you take a look here, they specifically show that this distance here from the degrees to the top of the viewing rectangle here is equal to, from the bottom of this triangle to the top of the minute reading. So we're going to attempt to adjust that, as well as a couple of other things. First thing that you need to do is you need to open this door, this hatch, and you can tighten it back up so this doesn't keep falling down on you. Now, what you got to do is you got to count how many full rotations you have from stop to stop. And so what I did is I turned it all the way till it stopped to the right, and then all the way until it stopped to the left. And then I counted how many full rotations I had until it came to a full stop at the right. In this particular case, I had 2.5. And so I made 1 and roughly 1.5, and then placed it horizontally here in the middle. The next step is to remove this lower cover, which is this one here. There are 4 screws, and they will be these short screws here. And then you will also remove this upper cover here, where either your lamp or your mirror goes. And that is 4 longer screws, which are these guys here. Next, you're gonna need a really small flathead screwdriver and remove those 2 screws right there. That's going to release this adjustment screw. So here's what it looks like here. And if you remember, I had adjusted this to where it's in the horizontal position. So when it goes back in, we'll align this pin with these grooves, but it is not going to be easy to get that back in there. There's just not a lot of room. So we'll get the alignment correct, but it's gonna take a little finagling to get it back in there. Next step is to remove this damping plate, this guy here. And so what I'll have to do is hold these with a flathead and then get a small wrench to unloosen these nuts. Next, we're gonna remove the actual compensator itself by removing these 2 screws, which is this guy, there's a washer with it, and this guy here. So what I did on removing these 2 screws, I didn't want to risk dropping them down in. So you can either use a magnetized flathead, or I got them loose, held it with a screwdriver, and then used a pair of angle tweezers here. So now we'll try to get this compensator out. Surprisingly enough, it came out with no problems. So I'll put this in a safe spot and we'll continue. So now it's time for the inspection of the adjustment screw. If I can get my camera to focus here. This is the adjustment screw. This is what we initially counted the turns to each stop. And what it's saying is that the threads, these threads here that are on this adjustment screw, you'll see where the threads stop. Those threads need to be flush with this body here. So we'll adjust that. We can see that it's out of adjustment. Now the manual shows you kind of a little blow up down here. And so it says that basically this guy here needs to be flush with this and this. And so on the next step, it says important on the new interchangeable compensators, do not displace adjustment screw A, which is this guy here. It's a factory adjustment. So I'm not sure if mine's interchangeable or not, so I'm gonna leave it alone. So unfortunately, that is as far as I got into the Wild T2 teardown. I hit a brick wall right here. These are two tools that you would need to start making adjustments in here to the vertical circle. I found a couple websites that were pretty outdated. The last one was dated in 2021. That did appear to have these tools and some of these parts. I have called them with no return phone call, and I have sent them an email. So if anybody knows where I can find parts for the T2 mod, or some of these tools that are used to make these adjustments, please comment. Thank you.